what is this? I haven't recorded a video like this on my YouTube other than Twitch streaming, so it's gonna be interesting. This is my wait, ignore her, ignore her. Dang, we can't see for tier list. We'll make it a tier list. It's gonna be interesting. Right, I am only partially covering up the bottom portion of a few books. This is all 57 books that I have rated 5 stars. In order of oldest to most recent. Mine's Mindfuck. Mindfuck, I think, goes like around here somewhere. Because technically, I only have one Mindfuck book that I rated 5 stars, but I rated the series in general 5 stars, so I'm doing that. We have the 5 tiers. S tier is best of the best. Example, you may be wondering, would be honestly, obviously I have to like think about every day is not like my favorite book of all time, but I do regularly think about this bitch. Um, good, good, good. Wish you all the best. That's a good one for that. I do think about that bitch every day. Past me knew what she was doing. Will be B tier. That's B tier, right? Yeah. It's a book that I think is really good. If I were to reread it, and I'm happy I rated 5 stars, but it's not like on the top of my mind at all times. Michelle Obama's book. I don't. Now I'm thinking of rereading that to see if it's exactly 5 stars. Now slightly cutting it off, but we're not talking about it. Classics. That could be actual classics, like Pride and Prejudice. That's what that one is. Or books that like everybody loves. And everybody talks about it for a reason. I have not finished my reread of the series, the original trilogy. So I think Mockingjay most will be 4.5. So, you know. And then thinking back are books that thinking back, would I actually, if I were to reread it, would I actually? It's funny because it's on my top 20 or top 10 books in 2023. But hear me out. I didn't like one of the main characters. So, and their whole entire relationship in it. So I don't think it's for me like that. I think if I were to reread it, I'd give it maybe a 3.54 stars, which is a big difference. And yeah, that's the basic setup of how I'm doing this. Good times. Obviously, I think we have to go from the back. Okay. Squad. I haven't talked about what any of these books are. Legendborn. Fucking greatest. My favorite book of all time. I'm putting Bloodmark there. Immediately, obviously. I cannot wait for Oathbound to come out. And yeah. We love that for me. I Wish You All the Best is a or contemporary, a kind of romance, but not really. It just follows Ben, and their journey with mental health and coming out, and whatnot after leaving a household that wasn't safe for them. Michelle Obama's book is Michelle Obama's book. I don't have many nonfictions, especially memoirs, on this list. I think I'm moving her down. I think I'm like thinking about it. I same with Collins. Like Collins, like it was funny. It made me laugh. I had a good time. But like, was it really 5 stars? I don't know. I remember listening to it as I was playing Farming Simulator. So, that information as you will. Though I think there's only one other memoir because I don't think about them every day, but I stand by my decision. My body made me sob. Like, listening to her have to read it out, she was crying and it was making me sob. Like, it was oof. And I have since gotten, like, the hardcover of the physical, like, the actual book. Like, I own it, and then Know My Name. If you don't know what Know My Name is by this point, how are you here? What? Pride and Prejudice, if you don't know, honestly, if you don't know any of the books in this list, what? Like, hello? And then Magic Lies and Deadly Pies was described to me as a cozy mystery, in which she kills people with pies. She kills one person with a pie in the beginning, and I was really into that. There's also this whole thing where it's bisexual. She has two love interests, one a woman, one a man. And I had a feeling, I had this ick about the female love interest the whole entire time. And they would slowly do cute things, and I'd be like, okay, so clearly I'm in the wrong. So you're supposed to root for her to be with this woman, right? And then to learn at a certain point that she has been betraying her, spying on her, for her half brother, who is not a good man. Yeah, like, she tells her biggest secret to this woman, and this woman's like, it just immediately goes and runs and tells her brother for some money. And I'm like, what? And I have not got over it. And they're like, make up at the end, they're like still friends, and I'm like, no, I'm drinking my coffee because some things are gonna be harder than the others, and I realize this. I want to reread We Were Liars. Okay, I have to start from the back. Squad is a kind of sapphic graphic novel in which a bunch of women high schoolers become werewolves and band together as a pack to kill men. And it inevitably comes to a head where the main girl. What you want, drive? Not the time. It comes to a head when the main girl has a kind of a flirtation with this other girl in the group, and whatnot. And then at a party where they try to find guys to kill and eat, right? The boyfriend of one of the leader of the pack, right, tries to assault her, and so she kills him. And then it's like, oh no, where is he? And it, like, they have like all these rules, like, don't kill people from our school, and this is why, because like now they can be easily caught and all this stuff. And all this stuff happens, and I remember really loving it. And then I made the fish read it, and the fish was like, it's fine. And I reread it when they read it, and I was like, maybe give it 4 stars, but I kept it at 5 stars for whatever reason. And for that reason, it's going Thinking Back. Bottom of the list for Thinking Back, because like, I still love it, but like, I think if I were to read it for a third time, I don't think it'd be on this list. Like, there's some 4.5 stars that would go higher on this list than that. Okay, right? Like, let's be real. In Deeper Waters, gotta love this book. F.D. Lukens. A lot of people describe it as, I don't remember what they describe it. I remember what I describe it as, which is gay shark boy and lava girl. He is from a kingdom where one of his ancestors had fire magic and did a lot of genocide because of it. And he has power, and so his family tries to hide that fact from everyone else. Like, some of them have magic, but none of them have fire magic, and they try to hide the fact that he has fire magic from everyone else, so he's not really out in the world, and he's like his birthday, and so they're like showing him out to the world to be like, hey, he's a man now. And they come across a survivor on a ship crash, who was a captive, and he happens to be the last merman. So it's the last merman, and the only known fire magic user. And then he gets kidnapped, and there's this like whole thing where he's tortured and kills the people who tortures him, and then it's like, maybe I am like my ancestor, and all this stuff, and it's so good. And yeah, like, clearly, obviously, did you just hear me describe this book? I love it. Should we do all the Tessaderas at once? I feel like that makes sense. There's 4 of them on this list, because I have not read The Wallflower Wager. I think that's the third one in the series. A Night to Surrender. This was the first Tesseract I read. Okay, I did really like it in the moment. There is just another Tesseract. There's every other Tesseract is about this one. This one nowadays would be like a 4.5, maybe 4-star. Okay, like it's fine. This is one of my favorite books of all time. And the same I can't really explain what this series is doing to me. This book, I own it. Like, I reread it for my birthday. Like, I own it. I love it so much. I think about it constantly. Okay? There's one other series, kind of, other books, that go above it. But, like, God, it's so good. And synopsis-wise, I was expecting to really like, which one's the first one? Okay, Governor's Game is the second one. That's what I thought. Duchess Deal, synopsis-wise, yeah, that's gonna be my favorite. Like, let's be real. I was expecting to really like it, and it gave me everything I love from a Tesseract, and so much more. And then I went to pick up a Governess Game, and based on the synopsis, it wasn't gonna be my thing. Let's be real, fam. What about this book screams for me? Like, it's this whole thing where she's his governess, but he's trying to seduce her, like, and teach her how to, what love feels like, or sexual attraction feels like. Like, obviously, there's a power balance there. Like, this is a marriage of convenience. Duchess Steele's marriage of convenience. I just remember, you can't see my cursor. So, like, he needs a wife, she needs money. Okay, let's get married, and once you give me a son, you can live your life. Right? And also, it's technically a piece retelling. And I loved it. The part where he goes after her father, read it other time. So, like, the Governor's Game wasn't even my thing. Like, I understood it was gonna be like a 3 minute No, this bitch was so good. I was like, God damn, how did she, like, make me like this book? Like, from the synopsis, I shouldn't like this. Right? And so that's why I'm so excited to read the third one. I just got it from Libby. So that's coming to you soon.
Take 3. Welcome to editing me, informing you that yes, I'll use we're not talking about it. Shut the fuck up. And also, as I mentioned in the text, I read the Wallflower Wager. I read the Wallflower Wager in one day, in one sitting. I was like, by noon tomorrow, I'd like to have it done. I read it all in one day. I am still in a reading slump, and I read it all in one day. The last few chapters had me shooketh. I was screaming, crying, throwing up. My sister was literally texting me to make sure I'm okay. That was a fun time. And I was crying because it was just so good. Okay, that's how my life was going. And the sad part is now the Wallflower Wager is beating A Week to Be Wicked is my favorite Tesseract. It's going above that one. It's not beating the Cough Cough duology that's gonna go right above them, right? Or right before them, between the Legend Board, right? But honestly, if I hadn't read that duology this year, Wallflower Wager would be my favorite of the year. Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed, and I'm sad because now I'm gonna have to buy them all. I'm waiting patiently for Bride Test to come out first, but I'm gonna buy them all. So everyone pay for my bank account. And that's that. That's your message from editing me.
Actually, by the time this goes up, I will probably have read that, and that will be in the last fiction series vlog of the year. So, you know, yeah, that's my Tesseract for you. The princess saves herself with this one. It's one of 3, I think. It was 2 or 3 in that series. I think it was 3 in that one and 2 in a different one. Amanda Lovelace poetry collection. Very gay. This one was very much fight for yourself type thing. I think I read it during the pandemic. Technically, I remember reading this during that time that I was filming the Alphabet Reading Blog, the original version, that got trashed because it was too much data for me to be able to edit. And I remember reading it in that same time period, okay? So this was a long time ago. A lot has happened since then, okay? I think it has to go here. Like, at the very bottom. Because, like, from what I remember, I really liked it, but I don't know if it's still 5 stars. We Were Liars. I have to reread this at some point. I do remember literally sobbing in my room. I have made the fish read it since then. It's going here. It's going here. I would like everyone to know, because E. Lockhart, Vermonter. I live in Vermont. I went to college in Vermont. I met E. Lockhart in college. Because, like, I was in the creative writing program, blah, blah, blah. And one of my professors knew her and brought her in to talk to us. And this was before I had read any of her books. Well, this is the only one I ever read. But, like, I didn't know who she was, so I was like, oh, this is annoying. Like, just another author to talk to us. Like, whoopsie-doo. Get me now. I'm gonna put The Hate You Give. I don't even know how to describe The Hate You Give. This book gave me so much anxiety. I also read this one during the pandemic. I think We Were Liars was also during the pandemic. Because my best friend had gotten had won it actually. The giveaway thing our college library was doing, and just lent it to me. And I think she still owns it. Like, I remember seeing it on her shelves when I was in California. Yeah. And then I read it, and I was like, all right, I get why people like it. I have to read another A.J. Thomas. I've read technically the prequel about her parents, about Star's parents. I think that's her name. Wasn't there like a movie about it that nobody talks about? I swear there was. But anyways, I have other A.J. Thomases on my TBR that I should totally read because that book was so good. I was so anxious. The ending was a little thinking about, like, not my top thing, but like I still love it. Okay. Red, white, and royal blue. Honestly, I think this has to go in classic. To give you where I'm in this YouTube, I have been watching clips from the movie on YouTube a lot because it's just so good. I've read it twice during the pandemic. Hilarious story. Didn't think I was gonna get it because I got the book in monthly edition when it came out, right? And it was delivered to my college during spring break. And I was like, that's fine. I can just like grab it after spring break. Except then the pandemic came out and we never went back in. Oh, that's not right. And there was this whole thing where people are saying that the school, if you got packages, like if you got mail, they forward it to you. But if you got packages, nope. And so I was like, no. But they did. They thankfully did, and I was very happy about that. And then I read it. I loved it. And then I think my birthday in 2021, I read it again in under 24 hours, and it's 500 pages, plus pages. Like, I don't know how I managed that, but I did. It's so good. It's so good. It's just so good. And I'm not gonna talk about my other attempts to read Kiss Me Kristen books. Okay, since then. Um, there's so many pandemic books. Who am I? Um, Dear Ava is one I heard about Chandler, Chandler Ainsley, one of her videos forever ago. She talked about this book, about a SA survivor, trying to going back to the school where it happened, in which everyone hates her because she reported it, but she doesn't remember who did it or doesn't know who did it. So she's trying to investigate who did it while also getting love letters. That's the name, Dear Ava. And yeah, trying to find confidence in herself and trust ability to trust a partner, men in general again, but also a partner and all this stuff, but also learn the truth of her past and all this stuff. And I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it here because I don't think about it every day, but it's still really good. Also, this book hilarious. Kind of had the very, 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 very basic plan of my book got started because there are 2 epilogues in this book, and I made a joke to some friends of what if there was a book that was 1 chapter and the rest was epilogues, and that's how the very basic premise of my book started. So I have to love it for that reason. Should we do all the Heartstoppers at once? Do I have all of them? This is 2. Is this 3? I think that's 3. 1, 2, 3. 5 is here. Do I not have 4? Okay, so research has led me to learn that I rated the 4th one 4 stars. I think this may explain actually why I wasn't the biggest fan of season 3. I think it all comes to head. I wasn't the biggest fan of that plot line already. Oh, and then they had to speed it up. Makes so much sense. I mean, honestly, at this point, why is 3 there? That goes there, and then 5 goes here. Like, everyone loves it for a fucking reason. Do I not have checked these on here? Who am I? I understand why. Now the fish yelled at me for having a 4.5 because this is why. There's so many books that I gave 4.5s that definitely should be on this list instead of the ones on the bottom. Oh god. Maybe I'll go through and say which ones or throw them in. Beach read. This is a book that really got me into reading again. I've read it like 3-4 times. I cry like every time, and I don't know if I should put in the best of the best because I know there's multiple others going in the best of the best. I know me, and so I don't know if it should go there. I think I'm gonna put it at the front of thinking about every day. Oh, this is also nonfiction. Did I tell you what Beach Read is? It's a contemporary romance where they're both writers and it's enemies to lovers. And they have a competition to see who can publish their next book first, right? Because they're both in writing slumps. Girl, I feel it. But it's also grief and all this kind of stuff. Not that bad. Is a bunch of essays, edited by Roxane Gay about rape culture. That's the word you have to use on YouTube. I guess I'll just put it with these ones, right? Just like I don't know where else to put it. How many of this universe do I have on here? I see the first and the last. That sounds about right for me, because I'm fucking crazy. I think I'm gonna put them on classic, right? It's Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson universe. I don't know why I don't have any of the first series on here. We're not gonna ask questions, okay? Faithful, a book I read in high school, and then randomly decided to reread, and then forced the fish to read it as well, and it's good. It's good. Past me knew what I was thinking. Same for the Poet X. Have I talked? I gotta talk about what these books are about. God damn it, me. Faithful is about a woman, kind of contemporary romance. Kind of romance. In which, after a tragedy in which she's driving a car and her best friend is put in a coma to never wake up again. It's basically her trying to live life. Like, not wanting to survive, the things she does to numbify herself, and then coming to the realization that letting herself waste away and die is not what her best friend would want, and also would go against, like, everything, like, right? Like, she lived. She has to live. And so her finding the will to live again, sometimes in dogs, and I love that. And her relationship with her mother. Yeah, really good. The Poet X, a book about a girl who has a poetry book that she's writing partially as an assignment for high school and whatnot. And basically, it's just like this, like I think it's a year, maybe 6 months in her life written as this poetry book. I talk too much with my hands, and I notice this when I have to cut out parts because I whack my mic too much. I'm not talking about it. It's good. Is it considered a classic? How many reviews does it have? Okay, I guess I'm not giving it a classic because it doesn't have that many ratings on Goodreads, though they are all very high. Also, I recommend in any format. Audiobook, really good. Reading with your eyeballs, really good. I cried both times. I get with the hate you give. Death. The last book in the Four Horsemen series. Initially, Pestilence and maybe Famine, I don't remember, were also 5 stars. I swear in a video somewhere I have a tier ranking of my favorites, and it goes Death, and then I think it goes Famine, and then Pestilence, and then War on the very bottom because racism. There's whole entire podcast episodes about it. They're very funny. I loved taking notes and then forcing the fish to read them out loud. What the fuck is happening in these books? It is a series about the apocalypse. Basically, the Four Horsemen are on Earth, and humanity is dying, and the only thing that's saving is 4 women. Basically, to stop the apocalypse, the 4 Horsemen have to recognize the beauty of humanity, and one of the best ways to do that is through love, right? And so it's like 500 pages each one of them, except for Pestilence. So, of them initially trying to kill this person or kidnap it in some way, and then coming to realize, wait a second, I have feelings. These are human emotions that I'm feeling for this human being, and this further proves that all humanity isn't bad, but also like I don't think my person would love me very much if I killed their whole entire race, right? Makes sense. Death is the last one, and I love him so much. Okay, the whole thing where he is dead, like he kills everyone immediately, but she cannot die, right? So they have a whole thing where they keep on running into each other, right? He's already killed everyone she loves twice before technically, and so now she is on a mission to track him down and kill him. And then when she learns that she can't kill him, might as well slow him down a little bit, slow down the end of the world, and maybe give humanity a fighting chance. And over time, they get closer. After all this time running into each other, she sees the darkness of humanity. He sees the goodness of him. I love them. The ending boss battle fight at the end. I don't like boss battle fights at the end. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of the 5th Percy Jackson book. That being said, I love it and I think about it every day. And The Boyfriend Project, contemporary romance. These I think it's 3 women, maybe 4. Realize thanks to I think it's a Twitter conversation that they are all dating the same man. And so they band together to be like, hey, fuck you, my dude, and then befriend each other and make a plan to achieve a goal that doesn't have to do with men, doesn't have to do with relationships, like a thing outside of relationships that they've wanted to do but just never have had time, right? And put all their energy towards, that they usually put towards relationships, into that for like, I think 6 months or a year, and see what happens. I don't remember. This is like pandemic time, so I don't remember the main character's name. But hers is making an app, I think, that she's always wanted to make, right? And then she feels bad because she starts having a flirtation with this guy at work, this new guy at work that she's working with. But also, he's like a secret agent of some kind, so he's like lying to her the whole time. So I think if I write it back, I think it'd be a 4-star because of that. I think that main betrayal would lower it, but I think this was like other than the kiss quotient, I think this was like the only contemporary romance I had read at that point. I hadn't even read Beach Read, I think, at that point. Maybe I had. I don't remember. But basically, yeah. I think it would be. I think it's on par for me with Kiss Quotient. I thought I rated the last book in that series. What? It's one of those 4.5 ones. Ah. Yeah. So because of that, I think it goes. I would think to think that one. I think it's gonna go like that. I think it's gonna go like that. Addie LaRue. Honestly, don't know about Addie LaRue. Who are you? It's still the only PV Schwab I've ever read. I own it, basically. I am fighting the urge to reread it constantly right now. And that's why I don't know if it's on Think About It Every Day or Best of Best. I initially rated it 4.5 stars. I didn't expect to see it on this list. I thought I had left it there, and I thought when I next reread it, I was gonna up it to 5. No. It's about love and time and loss and all that fun stuff, right? She's a woman from France, in the ye olden days, who is being forced to marry this other guy from their small village, and so she makes a deal accidentally with a demon, to basically get out of it, and it backfires. It makes it so that nobody ever remembers her. So it's like going back and forth between current day and her life after that, surviving, right? And in current day, there's this other guy who remembers her. She steals constantly, basically, to survive, because people don't remember her. Blah blah blah. And so she steals this book from this bookstore and then goes to return it. And he's all like, "No, I remember you stealing it, right?" And she's like, "Excuse me, what?" And basically, he made a deal with the same guy. This is kind of getting spoilers. He made a deal with the same demon, and it was to make it so that every person sees in him what they want most. And so for her, it's somebody to recognize her, right? And so they start up this relationship, but his time's coming up. Like, his soul has to be given over to the demon, and he's gonna die soon. Thing about her is hers never has a time limit. It's just until she gives it to him, right? And so she gives herself up to him to save her boyfriend. And the whole book is him writing about his experience with her. Like, it's fiction, but it's actually real life. And I don't know. This is the one that hurts me. I don't. Do I put it at the end of the best of the best? I think I have to. Iron Widow. A really fucking good book. Again, one where the end battle fight scene, again, the issues, but basically, Chinese hierarchy of gender and also politics mixed with mecha robots in fighting and patriarchy, and I don't know how else to explain it. It's just so good. And obviously, it's going on the front of I think about it every day. The Young Gods. My favorite Katie rapper to this day. Hades and Persephone retelling. She's being forced to marry Zeus. But cock cock. Every single one of Zeus's wives have suspiciously died. So she's all like, "Oh, this is not good." Also, he's like twice her age. So she runs away, and the only place she knows of where Zeus can't follow her is the underworld. So she goes there, and she makes a deal with Hades where she can stay there, and he will protect her from that whole thing. Because if they're bangling and right, then Zeus won't want her anymore. So she's safe from that, and she'll have some place to be, right? While he gets to show off that he made, I think, his brother. Are they brothers? I don't remember. Like, I hope not, because I just remembered something from the Wicked Villain series. So, like, so that he can show off that Zeus can't control everything, is the best, blah, 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 blah. So they have this very public relationship, and then love, true love. Past me knew what she was doing. Okay, it's still good. Um, junkie. This is a book of race car driving. I love telling my mom's boyfriend, who's into racing, that the most I know about racing is from a gay romance. He laughs every time. Also, in Deeper Waters is where if I'm just reading a gay book, I have to say it's a gay pirate book to him, because I told him, I think it was the very beginning of them dating, when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, I'm reading this gay pirate book, and he was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay. So now every book I read is categorized as gay pirate for him. So, but Junkie is just that. One of them is still in college. I think it's his senior year, ahead of this frat, and the other one is graduated. They're like best friends. They work on the one that's graduated race car together, right? They're really close, all this stuff. And somebody makes a gay comment about homophobic comment about the frat boy one, and so he's all like, okay. And then he looks, because he's spending so much time with him, with his best friend, who happens to be a guy. So then he starts thinking about his whole entire life, and then he's all like, "Ah, shit, I think I'm gay." So then he tries to go to a gay bar to test it out, and then he happens to run into his best friend there, who's there hiding out from another race car driver who's trying to drive him off the road, right? And then so they go home, and he's all like, "Fine, if you want to, so you're gay, you can test it out on me, kiss me, and see if you're gay." Bells, is it gay if you kiss? It's just, oh god, so funny, so good. And the second one, not as good. I definitely feel like a good 200 pages of that one could have been cut out, and it could have been one very long book. Um, and instead we got one book that is the beginning of their love story, and one book that is the rest of everything else for their arc. Um, so that being said, the beginning of their love story is fucking great, and I think about it every day. The Dead and the Dark, a book that the fish made me read. I think, was it the gay reading book for 2023? I think so. Um, so what is this? She can see dead people. Her dads are ghost hunters, have this whole TV show. I think she can see the dead. And she starts. They're in this. They're in her dad's hometown, right? That is kind of very homophobic. And in that town, right? They are a lot of teenagers going missing and or dying, and one of those kids who have died recently, uh, girlfriend is trying to investigate what's happening, and so they band together and don't do shenanigans. And there's a bunch of revelations and ghost stuff, and it was really good. Past me knew what I was talking about. Okay. Malibu Resin. I really wasn't expecting to like this one. Rich people issues is how it was described to me, and I was like, I don't think that's for me. It is about four siblings, who are the children of fucking big real. And that's a running joke. We don't need to talk about it. And them as adults, breaking the cycle basically, of how he constantly cheated on their mom and left her multiple times. One of them isn't they're the two boys are the middle ones, and people think they're twins, but no, they're actually half siblings. One of them is the child of his affair partner who just dropped off the baby at the house, and the mom was like, "Yeah, this is my kid now. Get the fuck out." Iconic, right? The eldest daughter who dropped out of high school after their mom died tragically, really young, right, thanks to addiction because of she became a model. She dropped out of high school, became a model, so that she could pay for her siblings to live, right? And the youngest I think is 16 or something, and all this stuff, and they all have careers. Most of them are one of them is an athlete, surfing athlete, and it's noted that she's like better than him, but nobody cares because people only care if she looks good while doing it, and all this stuff. And so yeah, and recently her tennis celebrity husband has been found out to be cheating on her. There's a whole book about it. And so it's like her birthday party, I think, and there's like normally this whole bash she throws, and so she's continuing to throw it just because to like hide how upsetting this makes her, and it's like a lot of her coming to terms how much control she's given up for this man just to be like know that she's secure, but then to continue the cycle of being cheated on and being like, okay, I guess I'll take him back after this night, and then it's most of it's like this whole night in which a bunch of the family secrets come out by each of them, right? One of the brothers is dating the ex of the other brothers, and she's pregnant now. All this stuff. There's this girl in town who says that she's also mixed kid. So they're like, we'll see, right? At the end, the house burns down, and she just goes on the run. She's like, I guess I get to live free now because everyone thinks I'm dead. And at the end, she ends the cycle and all this stuff, and it's a really good book. And Passme knew what she was talking about. The Broken Girls. The Broken Girls. This is a haunted house story. It takes place in Vermont. There's modern day. When she was a teenager, her sister went to this haunted orphanage, I guess technically, and then went missing, right? And so she is now trying to investigate what happened then, but also what's happening now, all this stuff. But also what happened in the past, in which there was the original disappearance of a girl, and we also get the story of then of that girl and her best friends to learn what happened to her. Anyways, pretty fucking good, and I'm putting it here. Can you tell that section is just mess right now? Evolution of Mardar, second book in the Mardar trilogy. My favorite one. Let's go. We support women's wrongs, including but not limited to murdering rapists. Thank you very much. The way I was never gonna read the series until Fish made me, and yeah, I'll put it at the bottom of this list. Aristotle and the Waters of the World. This is the second book. I think it's currently just duology, the Aristotle and Dante series. The first one I thought was fine. I was like, like Fish really loves it, but I was like, it's fine, it's whatever. I'll move on with my life, right? Rated it 3 stars, I believe. Made a whole Instagram review of it, in which it's not like I tagged the author or anything, but he found it and then liked it, and I, to this day, have not made one for this book that I loved. I was sobbing. It's about these two best friends, very junky, but if it happened when they were teenagers instead. And is it more poetry? I don't know. I don't remember. Than race card writing, but it seems like vibed in that way. Yeah, no, I was sobbing in bed at one point. And that makes Fish very scared to pick it up, and that is why they have not yet. Put it here. So much blue. The Princess and the Grilled Cheese Sandwich. A graphic novel I recommend. Yeah. So this woman has to marry a man. You know how it goes. But she doesn't want to, and I think her father dies or something like that. So she starts dressing up as a man and pretending to be the son of her father. And then meets the princess, and the two of them start up a friendship, start working together, and then they kiss, and then the princess learns, oh wait, oh no. And so the princess is gonna marry somebody else, and there's a whole bunch of things. There's so many cheese puns. And the fashion in this book, there's this one dress that the princess wears, and I have no excuse to ever wear a dress like this. Ever buy a dress like this. But if I could, I would. I don't think I would look anywhere as good as her. Also the fact that the two main characters are based off of the author and her wife's whole entire relationship. Her past of dealing with gender and societal norms of gender and whatnot, and how she views herself. It's a really fucking good book. And Patsy knew what I was doing there. Let's go in there. Crave. Twilight, if it was written 10 years later, playing on a bunch of tropes, but also there's like dragons and gargoyles and a bunch of other shit. They are definitely trauma bonded. When they said I love you for the first time, after knowing each other for like a week, did I scream into my pillow like, bitch, what? Because it was like 11 p.m. Because I read this all in 24 hours accidentally. I read this all in one day. Accidentally. It's a long book. Yeah. The revelations, the cliffhanger. They are definitely trauma bonded. Her family just died, and so she's moving into her uncle, I believe, runs this school. It's a magical school. It's a magical school full of magical beings, and she's the only human. But she's not allowed to know that, so nobody's telling her any of this stuff. And his brother recently died, and so it's like them dealing with the loss of the people closest to them, and low-key blaming themselves, finding each other, finding somebody who understands that part of them. Bassie knew what she was talking about. The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen. I have read this one twice now. The first one was good, but this one was spectacular. This is there's almost an outing scene in the beginning. Like, let me tell you. Also, the miscommunication in this is a lot in the beginning, but you get both point of views in a way where you understand why they are viewing what the other one is saying, like why they're viewing it as that way, instead of what they're actually saying, and that's how we get the miscommunication. And then once they actually learn how to communicate, there's a treasure hunt, kidnapping. They are both lovers, but in like the city, but one of them is leaving because family business, and the other one's leaving because his dad recently died, and he has to take the family name. Lo to behold, his dad was a horrible fucking person. Never loved him, expected to not get any inheritance. But it automatically goes to him because he's the eldest male, right? And so he has to move to this random town he's never been to. Happens to be the same town his lover's in, who is also the head of the mafia. And also, his first night there, he catches the sister of his lover, who he doesn't know it's them, like, same person, doing mafia shit. So plans, like, is on the stand about to tell everybody about this, when, he's trying his hardest to be like, hey, don't do that, or else I'll tell everyone you're fucking gay. And it's like, by the wire, there's a lot of panicking, there's a lot of other shit going on. And then there's some people who think that his dad knew where the secret treasure was, because it was his money that he stole. So much chaos, and they're trying to help find this buried treasure, but also a bunch of other stuff. But also, they're so gay, and I love them. I think about it every day. Let's go. 172 hours. We're so close to being dead. I don't know how long I've been recording this, and that scares me. I think about an hour, so we're not gonna do the 4.5 stars. Maybe another time. Comment if you want that. 172 hours on the moon is a sci-fi horror that my best friend read in middle school and then gifted to me. It is now at the Fish's place. The Fish has read it now. Because I was like, hey, I think the Fish would love this, and there's like mixed media in it a little bit. So I was like, physical book version would be better. It's difficult to get it in America physical because it's translated, right? And Bessie was like, yeah, go ahead. So the Fish has it now. But it's so good. There are multiple parts. The footprints that came from nowhere. The reflection portion fucking scared me. Basically, to get money to go back onto the moon, NASA, but not NASA, is kind of making this publicity stunt. They want to go back to study something alien, right? And go to this old space station and be there for X amount of days, right? And so to make publicity, they do like a raffle type thing for random teenagers all over the world, anywheres, to go up as well for publicity thing. And I think there's 4 of them. And it is a slow start where you meet the teenagers, but once it gets to the space stuff, even before the space stuff, some weird thing, like what was with those snippers? Oh my god. I was spooked. Let me tell you. Yeah, he was good. They go to space. Almost immediately, one of the astronauts, like the actual astronauts, dies. And then all the adults are dying or making dumb decisions, and they're just trying to like figure out what's happening and like why is the computer doing this? All this random stuff. And then the ending. I think his name's John. So John. Anyways, I think about it every day. Yeah, it actually scared me. I had to sleep with my nightlight on. So great times. Orbiting Jupiter. I'm Gary. It is a very short book. Technically middle grade, but definitely feels older. About this family who used to foster kids a lot. Are asked to foster this kid who is like 14, has a daughter. The mother's dead. And he was in juvie. And so, but was in a bad situation. Essay. So, they take him in, to be their foster child, and it's very much about, him coming to terms with what everyone told him he is, because he's a 14-year-old who's been in juvie and has a kid, and so he's, like, good for nothing, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Coming to terms with this family who, like, teaches him that, yeah, that shit happened, but you're still a human fucking being, right? And all this stuff, and are there tears in my eyes right now thinking about it? Yes, but I'm not gonna cry because I'm wearing so much makeup. I put on so much eyeliner, okay? Do you see this shit? I'm not crying at all. But it was, I don't think about it every day, but like, would I don't think about it a lot. I know there's gonna be one other thing in here, and I guess I'll put it in and think about it every day. God, I don't know. I forgot about Paris. The way I was talking about how that's all the memoirs. No, there's Paris. Paris, not Paris Hilton. A book that saddened me greatly. I got angry. I cried. It was, yeah. It's going with the other ones because why else? It's about her life, right? And misconceptions about what was happening, uh, around certain points of her life. Very much like what was the Britney Spears one? And I don't think so. Like the Britney Spears one. I don't think I can't remember her name. From Freaky Friday and Mean Girls. Lindsay Lohan. I don't think Lindsay Lohan has one, but well, the reason I'm bringing her up because she's actually brought up into it. But if she were to write a book, that's also similar vibe. Yeah. We're down to technically the last few. Some of them I'll do all at the same time, and some of them go together. The Weight of Blood, a book I immediately then made the best read. Carrie, but also if Carrie talked about some topics. Is her name Carrie in it? I don't remember. She is mixed. Her dad's white. Her mom's black. No clue who she is. Right? Presumed dead. And her dad makes her pretend she's passing, so he makes it so she is white, basically. In public until one day at school, it's a rainy day, and they're outside at gym, and so her hair gets wet, and then everybody learns, and there's a bunch of videos that go live on the internet of racism and bullying in the school in the South. And there's, very much like Carrie, that one teacher. I've never read Carrie, But that one teacher who was all like, hey, like, should somebody like actually check on this girl? Like, signs of abuse if her father's making her live this life, right? Right? And like the principal knows that her grandmother was racist, so like all this other stuff. And yeah, so she is being horrendously bullied. Good old racism. And one of the girls who kind of is helping with bullying, has a black boyfriend, and it's very much of her being like, well, like, technically I didn't do anything. I just didn't stop her. Who was her best friend helping out, right? So she has her black football boyfriend, right? Because like she's the blonde cheerleader, you know, the image she's trying to make herself. And has him ask her out to prom to be like, hey, I have friends, but he's also having an interest with her because he's noticing things about her, notices some abuse, and then things happen. It also very much like Harry, like I've heard, has that whole interview thing after the fact. I think it's police interviews in Carrie. It's like a podcast interview thing. I have theories at what happened. In my headcanon, they are living on the beach, in a little house on the beach, together, happily ever after. Thank you very fucking much. I did love the misconception of like where you assume that magic comes from, like what side of her family, right? The way it was the racist grandmother, like you, the way everyone's all like, it must be, like historically, fuck up something. Like it must be because black magic. No, it's because of racist grandmother. It's so good. It's so good. I don't think I could reread it because it makes your blood boil and also so anxious whole fucking time. I think Tiffany D. Jackson just writes books like that. Actually, now that I think about it. That being said, I fucking loved it, and it's going here. I'm gonna have to fix that. Host club. Should we do all the host clubs at once? Yes. Okay. This is the part where I don't know what to do because hear me out. Okay, if we go with mindfuck first, you go over here. Go over here, host club. We'll do you next. If we do mindfuck, technically, on my list of series, it is labeled as a 5-star series and my favorite, currently above Legendborn technically. That being said, thinking back, but I'm not putting it in the, because I do think about this every day. Like I am fighting the urge to reread the first one every day. I just don't really like the last one. Thinking back, like that one's like a 3. I don't remember what I actually rated the last one. But that one's like a 3. My personal headcanon, I think the third one is the one I have rated as 5 stars. So I think that one and the first one, 5 stars. Second one, sidetracked, 4, maybe 3.5, because like it has nothing to do with the rest of the series. Fifth one, like a 3. Fourth one, I don't fucking remember. So, in my thoughts opinion, I very end of thinking about it every day. Okay, very end. Beginning of past me knew what she was doing because like I love it. Don't get me wrong, but here we are. People are being menaces to society right now on Discord. What's up? Right, so this one, go with something like that. This one with it because they go hand in hand. I do think about the ending of those books a lot. 13. I don't remember exactly. I think 13 is when it started the arc of actually Haru and Tamaki, and also Tamaki's past. So I'm gonna put it like here. I don't know what past me is just a mess now. This is how you lose the Time War. Fuck, that book is so good. Oh, I don't know. It's so good though. Do I think about it every day? No. So I'm gonna put it at the front. I'm gonna do it. So this is where we get to the fun part. Since the zoology. my favorite books of the year. I'll just do that now. I love them so much. They are my children, especially cats. Okay, I will not go further into that. That is my son. Thank you very much. A random book character. It's not me getting questions on who my son is. I love them so much that when I saw them in a random romance bookstore in San Diego, I immediately fucking bought them for like 40 something bucks in cash. Like, I handed over a $50 bill. I was like, yes, thank you, please. Brought them all the way back from San Diego so they can sit on my shelf. It's so beautiful. My children. I love them so much. And they have to go together. And this is where I fear the chaos that is going to happen if Bestie ever watches this. First, I put Mara Dyer on B tier, and now this. They go together. It doesn't matter what order I put them in. I'll be honest. This makes sense because I do love the series more than I love Mindfuck. I think before this, the only series that had an overall rating of 5 stars that I gave. Yeah, it was like Mindfuck and this, and I much more than Mindfuck. Okay, Mindfuck definitely needs to go down on that list. Ooh, what the hell you? On my series list. So I love Legendborn. Legendborn is so personal to me. I love it to my soul, to my core. Like, I love it. And don't get me wrong, I love Bloodmark. It's technically second place because those two cannot be separated. So second place. It just so happens that Six of Crows and Quirk Kingdom changed my DNA this year. I don't. It's an issue because now I need to reread 9,000 and then read Hellbent and a bunch of other League Bardugos because I'm like, wait a second, this shit's good. I have to continue the universe. I like Lee, please. You know, it was so good, so good. And that's where I'm moving it. Am I happy with this? Am I happy with this? Makes sense. Yes, sure. Yeah. This makes sense there. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Past, yeah, there goes up front, and then non-fiction. Yeah, sure. Like that. Yeah. Like that. Please don't worry about the order. And then yeah, that makes sense. I like it. Okay. I'm putting this in order of most need to think back. Should it be in the opposite order because it's down from this and then it goes? I guess so. I guess technically it should be in the opposite order. Least likely to most need to think about again. I'm gonna put this in. Alright. That makes sense in my brain. Alright. Yeah. Magic Guys and Deadly Pies definitely would be a 3.5 stars. On a reread, Michelle Obama and Politics think would be 4. Same with Night of Surrender. Squad 3.5 4. Boyfriend Project probably a 4. Same with Amanda Lovelace. If I were to reread them, will I? I don't know. That being said, it is done. I just checked what's coming out next. There is a podcast episode the week this goes up. Fridays, that is a thing. And then like 2 weeks after that, that's like the last normal one, but there's gonna be a bonus one in December where we do this same exact thing for every book we've read for the podcast. Which is gonna be interesting because if you haven't noticed, this takes a long fucking time for me to not like shut up about books. And we have thoughts on opinions about a lot of them. Whoops. Who let us read? So that's the thing. Fridays here, game information. Normally, the next video should be a continuation of me trying to finish my 24 and 2024. I don't think about it until October, and then I'm like, gosh, shit. And then after that is my 25 and 2025, in which I'm wearing the same outfit because I filmed the same day. Pre-filming. In fact, here's everything. I think I have to talk about it once. So thank you all for coming. I should have made this my full screen face. Whoops. But who cares? Because you get to see more of my beautiful Tyrion. My child. I'm going to download this afterwards. Hopefully it doesn't fuck it up. Anyways, yep. I followed a trend and I made a thing. I recommend some very obvious books up top.